Okay, I'm back. Sorry I didn't do a close yesterday, but I got a lot done. Today is valve body day, and right off the bat, when I took off the um, the um, the valve, the pumps or whatever they're called, the build up pressure build up, whatever they're called, and I got the most of the gasket off. Some of it I had to use a little bit of engine degreaser, and I used a razor blade to scrape what remained on there. There's still some left on here, but a little bit of Scotch-Brite will get the rest off. But while I was removing the gasket, I noticed something on this plate. It's a little disconcerting, but I found a way to get past it. I noticed where some of the check balls, actually now I've already repaired this one, some of the check balls have started pushing up burrs and expanding the holes, like you can see on this one. Let's see if I can get a little closer. You can see the rims of the hole rising up to where they're starting to shape like the ball. So this one was really bad right here, and I've already done a repair on this one. And this one, the ball isn't even hidden center. So I repaired this one. And how I'm doing this, I do have the 2004 plate, but I don't know if they'll go together. But how I'm repairing this, I'll show you really quickly, because I want to get on to fixing stuff up. And sorry, it's very hot, so it's a nude beach day here in Cedar Knolls. I've got a body dolly. A lot of mechanics know what these are. Old school body guys use these. So anyway, I take this body dolly and just a regular hammer, and I'll be careful, because if you don't do this right and you don't know your shit about metal, you'll really screw this up. But this lip right here, this raised lip, if I take it and I put it on the body dolly, now I'm not hitting hard, I'm just lightly tapping this to push the burr back down into the hole. Yep, and now the circle is smooth again, flat, and now I'm sure that the ball will at least have a sealing seat to sit against. I'm going to touch up these last two also. I already did these three over here, and I'll be right back. Well, I've repaired all those divots and sharp edges. I took a razor blade and some PB blaster and got all the rest of the gasket that was like fried on here off, so we won't have an issue with non-sealing surfaces. It all looks good. I'm not doing any alterations on any of the feed through holes, because I don't want this thing shifting hard at all. It's 17,000 pound truck. Last thing I need to do is be blowing pieces apart because I'm trying to make a race car out of a truck. Anyway, I'll be right back, and I'm going to start checking on all the sensors real quick. I had to go and get a new one, because this thing doesn't know how to zero out or anything anymore. It's very, very old, but it's amazing how they still make it almost identically. So I'm going to crack this open, put these batteries in this one, and do some testing, and I'll be right back to show you what the test results are. So I've got my sub kit for the 480, and it's a 91 up. I see that they got this screen here, but the old screen was a conical shaped screen, and I'll get that out in a second. But I think I like the conical screen better. Anyway, this is the kit for all the valves and all the new O-rings and all the new clips and everything. So I'm getting ready to take this thing apart now and start checking each valve one at a time. I don't want to do this whole thing all in one shot. So I will be back as I start testing. Okay, I hope you can see the readings. Try to get you a decent view. I think this one is supposed to be 4 ohms resistance, so let's check and see what we're getting here. 3.9. I'm guessing that's well within tolerance. Okay, so the next one, at least this thing is working this time. I'll get the next one out and check that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the next test, I got this. I don't know the names of these anymore. I don't have that great of a memory. And I got the valve out that was behind it and the spring. And it came out quite easily. And this pin that goes into a blind hole that you can't get out, I've been watching everybody get them out by tapping the valve body. What I did was I relieved the spring tension, and I just took a little screw and screwed it in there and pulled the pin right out without banging on the valve body. Just pulled the pin right out. Very simple. Anyway, now let's get this tested and then back together, because I'm doing it one component at a time. Not even trying to take this whole thing apart and have a nightmare putting it all back together. I don't even know if these two pins are going to fit in here together. And I don't think there's a way to test it from the back side. Nope, I do not see a way to test it from the back side. Let's see, get that in there like that. And try to get this in there like 10.5. And I believe this is supposed to be 10 to 12 or something like that. So anyway, I'm going to take this as good also. And I'm going to put it back together, and I'll be right back again. So the next little valve that came out was this one. And it came out fairly simple. It's very easy if you got a tiny little screwdriver to get this to come out. And it was not as tight as most of the suction fits that I've seen on this transmission so far, but I don't see a problem with it. There's no gouges or anything sharp or anything. So I want to put this back together, and I'll be back again. Okay, so I've got, I believe this is the last valve on this side. Yeah, it is. I mean, I've already got the main shift lever out, which also goes in this side. But this is the last valve that came out. Oh, by the way, I am also changing out all the O-rings on all of the components as I go through this. And cleaning out and lubing up all the holes so that when everything does go back together, it goes back together clean. And I know that if something gets jammed up in here, then there will be a problem later down the road. So making sure that there's no debris or anything in here to screw this up. And this one is one of the ones under pressure. There you go. Let's get the cap back in. I know that the hole faces out, so pull the pin up. Tap this cap back in there lightly. There you go. Push it in, put that in. Tap the pin back down. There you go. And time to flip it around to the other side. So I believe this is I'm not sure if this is the 1 to 2 or the 2 to 3, but this also came out very easily, very clean, very smooth. I don't see any problems with that. And this is our module, and I can check it from the back side here. The contacts come right through right there. So let's see what we're at on this. And I believe this is supposed to be 20 to 22. So you can see that. I stand it there like that. There you go. Now I can't see it, but you guys will be able to see it. There you go. Now I can barely see it. And touch this and this. Oh, I think these are these the 5s to 6s? Let's see if I can get a better contact on here. Now I do have another set of these. 5.5. No, 2.22. No, that's correct. I was looking at upside down and backwards, reflecting in the camera, so sorry. 22.2, that looks good. Here, let me just throw the test on this other one while it's in the unit, actually. If I can make those same connections. Yeah, it looks like the same two connections. Let me take it out. I'll put the other one together and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the other plunger out valve, whatever you want to call it. And once again, it all came out very, very smooth. And as you see, they all give me a headache going back in because they're very snug, they're very tight. I don't see any problems happening with these things. So here's our other switch. I don't know if this is 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, but let's see what it is. Let's give you a view here. And this should be 20 to 22 again, like the other one was. And we are getting 21.7. So all of my circuitry, I did not do the pillow switch yet. I will after I put this all back on the transmission. But once I get to that point, boy, we'll be so close to going. Anyway, I'll be back again. All right, so this last one was the hardest to get out. And it's the one that has the little check ball in it. And it does have an O-ring on it. So as performed on every O-ring, getting them out of here because I don't need to have any, blow by or leaks in these valves. Wow, why is this one a pain in the butt? It was also the most pain in the butt to get out of the tranny, so it's out. There you go. New O-ring. So such simple little things. All right, well, let me get this one back together, and then I think it's time to flip this over and change the O-rings on these pistons. I believe that's where I'm at now. So I'll be right back. So I got my accumulators out, and everything looks good here. They don't look cracked or anything like that. Yep, everything looks pretty. It looks a little burned there. No, it's not burned. It's just rubber from when I slid the thing out. So let me get the new seals, the new O-rings, and I'll put this back together. You know, it looks a little worn on the edges, but I just think because this seal's flat, so it's been rubbing. So let me go grab the O-rings and I'll be right back. Well, for a moment there, I forgot that these aren't actually O-rings. They're these D-rings. And I know that they're not supposed to be easy to put in because you got to get them in to where the flat side goes down. And there you go. It's not so bad. Wow, actually, it's amazing how much is worn off these rings. These things are practically flat, and these are nice and fluffy and fat, and are going to really do great for the seal. There you go. Oh, these are the same size, so it doesn't really matter. So let's get it in the flat and just ease it around. There you go, piece of cake. Surprisingly simple. Okay, one more to go on this little guy, which is really mangled. Oh, and this little screwdriver I'm using for this, I actually took, clean this off a little bit before I put this in there. This is my smallest flathead screwdriver out of my kit, and I made it just for stuff like this. There you go. Wow, that was easy. All right, so I took this little screwdriver, and if you see what I doubt you're going to be able to see this. You might be able to. But I took it, and I took the end of it, and I just gave it a little bend. Can you see that? How I gave it like that little hook bend? And it makes it easier to slide by the side of a rubber grommet, washer, O-ring, anything, and it'll grab the rubber and pulls it right out. Makes the job a whole lot easier. Anyway, we're going to get this sucker back together now. That puppy back in there. Let's make sure there's no crappy stuff in there except the actual tranny fluid that was stuck in here. Oh wow, that makes the seal so much firmer. Get the little E-clip back on here. Bingo. One down, one to go. I do not see any crap in that at all, so that's good. It's a good thing. And there you go. We're back. Accumulator body is back and ready to go. Boy, these older versions that had something here, I don't know why they leave this hole here. Is there any use for this hole? I'd be interested to know. Anyway, this is ready to go back together, but I have to do some stuff with the tray and getting everything back together. Whatever you want to call that flat piece of metal. Sorry, I have no memory for any of the names of any of these parts, but I know what they are, and I know what they do, and I know how to fix them. Anyway, I think that's going to be enough for today. It's getting way past dinner time, and I've been out here for like 5 hours. It seems like 20 minutes to you guys because it's all film, clean, do something, film, clean, explain it. And it's, I don't even know what time it is. Let me see. It is, see, it's topless Saturday today. It's 5:40, yeah, so it's like dinner time. And I've got enough done. I got to make a game plan for tomorrow because tomorrow I'm going to put all the hard parts back in the case so I can get my case locked in and flip it sideways so I can put all the valve body stuff back together. And hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, the transmission will be back together for the most part. I don't know if it's going to be up and in the truck because I have the broken fuel line that's running alongside the side of the transmission that needs to be changed. And I'm not even gonna put the transmission up until that's changed because it gives me space enough to sit under there and move around and work without banging the back of my head into the backside of the transmission. So tomorrow I'll finish getting that broken screw out of the rear end yoke and trying to fix that. I just got to buy some rubber hose. I'm not going to redo the whole fuel line system yet. I will eventually, but just now I need to get it repaired so I can get it back roadworthy. And then I'm probably going to buy a whole new fuel line kit. Just do the whole thing from top to bottom or from back to front. I never did drop the fuel tank. I just figure I'll never let it go below a quarter of a tank. I don't need to know where the bottom of the tank is if I never let it go down below a quarter. I do know that the red line above the empty line, when it's right there, there's less than a gallon of gas in this fuel tank. And the way this was running with this transmission being so bad, like it is, I was only getting 3 to 4 miles per gallon. So letting it get down to below that red line is looking to get stuck somewhere. So for now on, I'll just always leave it above a quarter tank and just deal with it later. If it does keep sputtering though, if I keep getting a delay in acceleration, I will take the gas tank down and change that filter that's on that sending unit, because I'm sure there's 30 years of crud probably in the bottom of that fuel tank because it doesn't look like it's been taken down. And you saw that when I did try to take the bolts out, the one just snapped, and I probably was only going about 12 to 15 foot-pounds, and that thing was just rusted to crap and snapped. And I showed you the repair on that. So anytime you have a problem like that, I love those old style fuel tank straps where you just put the hook through, put the bolts up through, and then you put a nut on it and it pulls the strap up. These welded and riveted straps, in my opinion, they're just made to make them money. You know, because you break that bolt and you got to buy the whole strap. You can't just go and get a $3 eye bolt and nut and put it back together like I did. Anyway, today was a fun day. I actually liked this part. And tomorrow morning, I'll be putting the rest of the valve body back together. Now that I've repaired the valve plate, that's what it's called, I believe, the separator plate. Now that I've repaired that, and I don't think any of the balls are going to go flying through the plate on me, I'm ready to put that back together. And once that's together, you know, put the pan back on, put a new filter on, put the pan back on. And yesterday, you didn't see what I did, but I did change both the tranny fill dipstick grommet, and I changed the tranny filter grommet. So underneath the transmission is ready to go, just waiting for these parts to go back in. And I already did all the O-rings on everything. So I just have the one valve to repair, and that's the pin that pushes up the braking band. And I don't think there's much left after. I never took the parking / shifter component apart at all. So all it is getting this all back together under there, and this tranny should be ready to go up. And I did obviously buy the new torque converter. So I'm very close now. I'm slow and I'm old and I forget a lot. So sometimes I got to do things 3 or 4 times before I get it right. I don't know if you guys caught that, but while I was putting one of those valves in, I actually pushed one of the valves in backwards and then realized, oops, that's not the way that goes. But, you know, like I said, I'm old and I'm slow and I mess up. So anyway, until next time, may the force be with you and enjoy your weekend.